Steven Soderbergh, a Palme d'Or and Academy Award-winning director with a directorial career that spanned across 4 decades. He came into prominence with Sex, Lies and Videotapes in 1989, which created a movement in independent filmmaking. Soderbergh is pretty well known in making stylish heist movies from the likes of Out of Sight, the Ocean Trilogy, and more recently Logan Lucky. A prolific filmmaker with a film produced almost every year except for his sabbatical in the mid-2010s, Soderbergh had made movies of all types of genres. From a sci-fi feature like Solaris, to a biographical feature of a revolutionary in Che, to an uplifting law drama in Erin Brockovich, to a scary pandemic thriller in Contagion, to an action thriller in Haywire, to even creating a franchise that tickled the fancy of the ladies in Magic Mike. However, there had been no sign of a foray into the horror genre from Soderbergh, even though there had been decent jump scares in movies like Unsane and Contagion. With the advancement of video recording capability of the mobile phones, Soderbergh started experimenting making films using iPhone since 2018. Steven Soderbergh's latest offering called Presence was closest to a supernatural horror flick from the renowned director and certainly felt like being shot with an iPhone. Presence, which premiered in Sundance in 2024 but was released by Neon in North America a year later in 2025, instantly informed the audience that it was a first person, or more accurately, a first presence perspective when an entity was residing in a house before a family of 4 had moved in. It was a mixed racial marriage, and there were certainly some skeletons in the closet from every single person in this family. The mother, played by Lucy Liu, seems all wrapped up by her career and smitten with her champion son, and moved to the new house supposedly against the wish of her husband, played by Chris Sullivan, who looked like your typical hand-packed spouse. The son Tyler was a devious and dumb jock, while the daughter Chloe had her inner demons, especially after her best friend passed on due to an unspecified reason. Chloe seems to have the affinity towards this unseen presence and felt strong inclination that could be the ghost of her friend Nadia. The supernatural phenomenon tends to be benevolent and harmless, as it felt like the presence had a case of the obsessive-compulsive disorder. When Tyler befriended a supposed cool guy in his new school, Ryan, things turned for the worse in terms of actual poltergeist activities at home, and a medium had to be brought in. With the family divided on the legitimacy of the medium, she gave them an insight of what to expect, which was open-ended and circumspect. From the onset, with how the children were evidently Asian, I kept assuming that the father Chris was a stepfather and had an inferior complex he admitted to daughter Chloe that his wife was out of his league. There were also instances that I thought there were illicit actions rearing from father Chris, but it was presumptuous of me. Ultimately, Chris came through as a responsible father that the family could lean upon. As audience, we certainly can feel the plot was rousing to the climactic end, with the clue given to us by the medium lingering at the back of our minds. The final resolution tied things up with the mystery of the deceased friend and how the presence was not just a remnant of the past owner of the house. The story was from David Koepp, a well-respected screenwriter who did a few indie darling movies like Jurassic Park, Mission Impossible, and Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. He also made films like Secret Window, a title that could be a clue for the plot of this movie itself, with Johnny Depp in 2004. The world he created in Presence was in no way gargantuan compared to his more famous works, but there was a tightness in the plot lines, and I felt that there had not been too many wasted scenes. I really liked the dialogues of the characters. They felt like people in the real world talking to each other. There had been no intention from Soderbergh with any sort of manic jump scares in this movie. He went knee-deep with the first-person perspective with himself as the cinematographer on his mobile recorder, at times looming over people like a real presence would. There was no outlandish transition scenes that made even some school film projects look like Ocean's 11, but it somehow worked in this context. I had seen a lot of critical voices online on how boring the movie was, and I could empathize with that notion. For the first half of the movie, it felt like an artsy take of a supernatural tale like that pretentious David Lowery A Ghost Story. However, the second half was really engaging for me, at least, There was an interesting attempt of a Sixth Sense type of swerve. Presence is an exhaustive human drama of what I would classify as a well-to-do suburban family using a supernatural element to facilitate the storytelling and unearthing the secrets behind the facade and within the woodworks. A simple yet effective screenplay from David Cope, complemented with Steven Soderbergh's infatuation with stealth videography and decent performances from the cast, with a couple of characters that one can surely empathize with. I'm awarding Presence a 7 out of 10. Presence was a prelude of the horror offerings from Neon for the year 2025, and I am incredibly excited with films like Osgood Perkins' The Monkey, so do subscribe to KK's Horror Heretics for my dedicated review in due time. Please click the like button and share this video, it will go a long way for me. The preceding review was my first episode of an Asian triple featurette, where I do concise reviews of horror movie offerings from all over Asia from the past to the present. I'm not sure if you have seen a meme out there that seems to tell the presence haunting your household that if he can move stuff around and flicker lights, he can pick up a mop and do some houseworks, as he does not pay the rent. Wise words indeed.